Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? We have for you 2 clips to watch, which delve into the thorny topic. And by the way, it is only thorny because we live in a woke postmodernist society where things like this, they strike at the very heart of the fallacy that is postmodernism and the woke society that we live in. The lie of peaceful multiculturalism. Very thorny issue. What am I talking about? I'm talking about black on Asian crimes. Blacks targeting Asians. Now we have 2 clips to watch. They're new clips. One is of a taxi driver being robbed at gunpoint, and then the other is of 2 people seemingly targeting a random Asian person and robbing him as well. Thoroughly unpleasant business. Had the Asian person been white, and had the Asian person who we are saying would be white have been the perpetrator, then the very same woke brigade who are trying their hardest to keep this type of thing under wraps, they would suddenly be singing it from the rooftops, telling you how terrible and how grave the situation is. See, this is the thing. Because the left dominate cultural phenomenons and because they dominate public life in general, the fact that they have no standards, or at the very least double standards, means that you and me invariably have to live in a society that has no standards, or if anything, double standards. Anyway, look, let's get into these clips. If you haven't yet, please like this video if you find it interesting or informative. If you are on YouTube or BitChute, you can subscribe to this channel. If you are on YouTube, there's a notification bell you can hit. Either way, share this around social media, friends, family, normies. That will combat the crippling shadow ban and reducing, as Susan Wojcicki calls it, that conservative commentators such as myself are unfortunately suffering from. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the first clip is out of Los Angeles. It is an Asian driver in his car at a gas station. He is ostensibly waiting his turn when the back passenger door opens, and the man you can see at the back there, African American man, gets in and demands his money at gunpoint. So let's watch that clip. Now, there's not actually any audio to the clip, but the footage speaks for itself. So the African American robber doesn't realize that the Asian man has a camera in his car. I mean, he looks like the personification of gangster rap culture. This is what the youth, or their youth I should say, aspire to be. This is glamorous to them. It's macho. So he's took this disgusting. He's got everything, right? And he's still hitting him. Okay, so the clip's starting again. So we'll watch one more time. So you see that the driver's clearly nervous. You can see at the end when his hand is resting on the seat, he's shaking, as anyone would be. You know, he's been held up at gunpoint. What gets me though is that the gangster rap hero from the ghetto, the thug life champion, he gets everything, but he still hits him. In fact, he hits him after he's got everything. Despicable. Would you want to live in a neighbourhood with guys like that? So that's the end of the clip. It's gone back to the start again. Just There he is. He doesn't realise he's been filmed. He's probably too stupid to understand that there's a camera facing right at him. He's lowered his mask. So there he is. Look, you can see him. He's got tattoos that'll make him easily identifiable. I hope this man gets caught. Then again, God knows what the justice system will do. They'll probably let him off scot-free, because we know that the justice system is infested by the same corrosive identity politics that allows people to get away with things again and again and again and again. It's like the better you are in society, the worse you get treated. And the worse you are in society, the better you get treated. This is what I mean about there being no standards. Anyway, let's move on to the next clip. Next, we have a clip out of San Leandro. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a similar vein in which an Asian man is accosted by two African American males, ghetto thug champions, you know, the pillars of the gangster community. And the Asian man is, well, let's watch it. I mean, you can see for yourself how abhorrent it is. Does that remind you of something? I will enhance the audio. That one that come across, apparently that's only an 11-year-old. An 11-year-old child. See what I mean about the first clip? What I said about them being heroes to the gangster rap set, the gangster rap kind of, which is dominant among, look, I'm afraid to say it, but it's true. It's dominant among African American young men, very impressionable by the gangster rap ghetto culture. It's what they aspire to be. Largely, I'm not saying they all do, but I'm just saying that largely that's the dominant culture. And I'll enhance the audio, but they found it hilarious. Subjecting this elderly man, Asian man, to a robbery, random robbery at gunpoint in the street. They laughed. They found it funny. They found it funny. It's not a blot on their conscience, if they've got one at all. Let's go back and watch again and remember that. What does this remind you of? Remember the two girls in Washington DC who hijacked well, it would be our British definition of Asian, but he was actually Arabic, an Arabic man. If you remember, they stole his car and they raced up the street. I don't think they even knew how to drive. They just thought, hell, look, there's an Asian man, let's rob his car. And they drove up the street with him hanging onto the door. They flipped the car when they tried to turn the corner because they don't know how to drive. And it flung the owner of the vehicle, the Asian man, against the railings at such force that he just disintegrated. I'm sure you've seen the footage of the two 14-year-olds. It's the one where the only thing they're worried about is their phone. The passers-by that come rushing over, they want to apprehend them. They don't care about the crumpled up Asian man who's laying twisted in a twisted heap on the floor. The only thing they're concerned about is their phone, their material things. What are they doing here? They're stealing to get material things. So all they care about is the latest phone. They'd rob you for it. They'd probably end you for it. If you've got a Rolex, they feel that rightfully your Rolex watch should belong to them. That's the way they see things. Whatever you've got in your hand, it really should be in their hand. That's the way they see things. But anyway, let's watch again. And this is what I mean about the thing with the Washington DC, those girls. By the way, they aren't going to be sentenced as adults. They aren't going to be given life sentences. If we're talking about reasonable punishment. I think that would be reasonable. But they are getting off comparatively lightly for what they did. If it was me that did that, I'd be sentenced to life in prison. If it was you, you would be sentenced to life in prison. But hey. But this reminds me of that incident because it's just so blasé for them. It's just so, they take it all in their stride. They're not even nervous. They're laughing. They're having a good time. And you just know when they rushed off in that car, which they probably stolen, but you know that they were like high-fiving each other. That was the best day ever, yes! We're gangster rap heroes too. We're going to post photos on Facebook with us, with our stolen money and, you know, all of these things that we stole. Yeah, they do the same when they loot. When they go looting, it's like, yeah, look at all these things. It's like whoever can steal or rob the more is like the moral authority of the new post-modernist religion. Abhorrent. And that Asian man who is getting on, we could say, in years, he's going to probably have that embedded in his mind for the rest of his days, however many days he has left. However long he lives for, that's probably going to be in his mind. And you've got to think about the psychological damage to him. Not just physical, but psychological. Because physical wounds heal much faster than mental wounds do. Mental scars. You've got to think how he's going to behave around African American men or young people now, and then what will happen if an incident occurs? He'll be blamed for it. They'll say, well, why are you profiling me? Why are you an ism? Are you an ist? Why are you scared of me? Why are you profiling me? Because of the incident that happened to him. But nobody will think like that. It will just be, he's profiling, he's an ism, he's an ist. So there they're just adding, literally adding insult to injury. And they won't be cool. But look, we'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think of the ongoing anti-Asian crime wave that is happening at the hands of the usual suspects, of course. That's why the mainstream media won't touch it. It's like a hot potato for them. But let me know what you think. If you haven't yet, if you found the video informative, hit that like button. If you're on YouTube or BitChute, subscribe to the channel. Either way, share this video around. That will help us hopefully try and combat the crippling shadow banning we have been subjected to. We don't get recommended anymore like most conservative content creators. We are not welcome on the internet. We have different opinions, and we bring to light certain things that the people who control the narrative don't want us talking about or bringing attention to. So if you value independent opinions, independent content and commentary, if you could share it and do those things, only takes a moment, but that would really inspire us to continue doing what we're doing, especially small channels like mine. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.